Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series, a series where we talk about the community's mocks to give you some inspiration for future things that you want to build and just help you out in whatever way we can. This episode is going to be focusing on realism, and what I mean by that is Bionicle without the Bionicle, essentially. Building things that aren't Toa, things that aren't Rahi or Makuta, building things that aren't specifically related to the Bionicle universe in any way. So building a spaceship or a motorcycle or some flowers, as you see from these thumbnails, or just things that are in the human world that aren't specifically Bionicle, because you don't have to necessarily just build a Toa or a humanoid character. You can really build anything. And so we're going to show you a few examples of some stuff to do today, and hopefully we can inspire you. So the first mock we have today is by Balloon Nom Nom and is called Mechanical Nautilus. Now apparently this is meant to be like a sort of synthetic laser shooting pew pew laser Nautilus, the sea creature, this thing. Personally, I couldn't quite see that when I first saw this. I thought that it was a cute little tiny spaceship. I thought that was really cool. So I guess you can leave it up to your own expert eye, and it can be whichever you want. But again, two really cool ideas there of either building a little miniature spaceship with some Bionicle parts, or building a little mechanical sea urchin thingamajig. So some very cool stuff going on here. The little sort of stripe of black, how it goes up the top and down there, and especially using that new Ultra Build shin piece, really makes a nice cockpit, or just the sort of back shell of a Nautilus, whatever you want it to be. And either way, it creates some really nice shaping, or is a fantastic piece used for being a little cockpit. Also using one of these little frill brush pieces that came with various city street sweepers and things like that does really help with that mechanical vibe. It could be sort of gears or some sort of futuristic engine if it is a spaceship, or it's a part of the frills and things from some underwater sea creature, which also looks fantastic. Overall, the front there with the little space laser looks very cool, because nothing's cooler than underwater animals with laser guns or spaceships with laser guns. So overall, some very clever piece usages, and overall some very nice shaping to really create a very smooth and dynamic design, which perfectly fits something that's underwater, or perfectly fits a spaceship. Either way, a very nice mock from Balloon Nom Nom. The next mock we have today is by Red, and is called the Skid Kid. Now, this is also a very tiny, small mock, and something I didn't say about the last mock is it's very simple and relatively easy to build, but doesn't stop it being a fantastic looking mock. And that's always something I stress, which I'm sure if you've watched a lot of these episodes you definitely know. Build smaller, in my opinion. Sure, it's cool to have some huge, awesome, massive, cool looking mocks, but having just little tiny things that maybe don't take you too long to build allows you to build more and not really have that excuse of like, oh man, I don't have enough time to build, because you build smaller, it's not going to take you as long, and often building smaller allows you to achieve some really awesome results and use pieces in really cool new ways. For example, Red has used one of the old Hero Factory 2.0 heads there as essentially kind of the whole core of this bike, and everything sort of stemmed off of that one piece, and really creates some beautiful shaping and really looks exactly like it would on a bike, and overall really ties this whole mock together. He's also used some Robo Rider wheels there, which is a fantastic part use, because honestly, I don't really see too many people using Robo Rider pieces. So if you happen to have any of those in your collection, or maybe you found some in a bulk lot or something, they make perfect wheels as they were intended to be. But overall, it looks very, very good here. It's also a beautifully photographed image. Using sort of smaller mocks and stuff would definitely make it easier to photograph some stuff as well. So if you're keen on improving your photography skills and stuff like that, that's another reason to build smaller stuff, because it's always easier to photograph things that are a little bit smaller. And again, Red has done a fantastic job photographing this, and almost looks fresh out of a, motorcycle magazine or something like that. But overall, a very well shaped and very well built mock that uses not only a really good color scheme, but some very nice pieces in some very creative and new ways. So fantastic job, Red. The next mock we have isn't necessarily just one mock, because I feel like I can't really cover just one of the things that she's done. But these mocks are by Barbara Howell, and there are under various different names. Grey Pot's Favourite Pot Forward, Yesterday's Flowers, Today's Flowers, Companion Flowers, all sorts of different names, and all sorts of different very clever part usages and colour schemes and everything. So I'm going to slowly cover a few, and just kind of cover some of the main things that are very clever. So who says you have to even build a spaceship or a motorbike if you're aiming for less Bionicle related things? You could easily just build some flowers, which would be perfect to display around the house and make things look prettier, and then you don't have to go spend $50,000 on flowers, because flowers are expensive these days, man. But there's some very clever part usages, and a lot of Bionicle that's used, and also a fair few bits of Clickets and system as well, so if you happen to have some Clickets, even though that stuff's kind of expensive. For those of you who don't know what Clickets is, by the way, it was essentially a theme that came before Friends, which was kind of like Lego jewelry. A lot of the parts you could use to customize and make your own jewelry and wear it. That's what Clickets was. And as you can see on a few of these pieces, there's various different flowers on there. It's also used a lot of these sort of vine pieces as the stems for a lot of the flowers, and then a few of these sort of wheels and various other Technic pieces to create pots and things, which are some very, very clever part usages and make for really simple but effective, well, pots. There's a few other times she's made fully system bases to hold everything. Some of them look very ornate and very well designed and stuff, and that would be a lot of fun to do, and mainly uses just a lot of pieces repeated, which, you know, if you've got a lot of one piece in one specific color or type, then you can really go ham-bone and make a really nice design there. And that's essentially what a lot of these flowers are too. A lot of them are very similar in design, being similar pieces or similar shaped pieces or pieces in the same sort of colors. And having a lot of them together in the one mock really helps create a sort of sense of unity and really reflects how actual flowers would look. There's even a few that use, like these here, use some of the Surge Lightning pieces and a few other things. And some of them even look very mechanical for flowers, but still creates a very nice look, looks almost quite sci-fi and even kind of Bionicle in a sense. And by that I mean, like, it could fit into the Bionicle universe, or some sort of science fiction universe or something. So you can kind of go outside the realms of realism with this, which that honestly is very, very cool. And another thing as well, it kind of, I'm sure everybody's got all sorts of different pieces lying around the house that they're never ever going to use, that are more obscure or really large and weird and stuff. Like a whole bunch of weird wheel pieces or weird flowers and fans and different things like that. And definitely you could easily use those in these sort of flower designs that we've seen from Barbara here. It allows you to create a very nice looking mock that, you know, it really will look nice in a room, as it's very bright and jovial and essentially does what flowers would do to a room. Overall, you get to use that part that you probably otherwise wouldn't use, and so I think that's very, very cool and a very creative way to use pieces. So some fantastic work there from Barbara. We've got a bonus mock again today. This mock is by Cosbrick and is called Swan Lake. Now, I put this as the bonus mock because technically it only uses one Bionicle piece, and people could be like, but Ben, it's not Bionicle, which, you know, technically you're right. But it doesn't use a huge amount of parts. It literally just uses some of these pieces that came on various balloons and things from either a system set or a friend set or an elf set, all sorts of different sets that they come in nowadays, and in a few different colors as well. And it's honestly a brilliant piece design, or piece use rather, that really creates a very nice, smooth, elegant texture that really fits a swan. And then using that Keat Orange Metru foot there for the bill looks perfect for a bill and really creates a nice sense of character for this swan here. Overall, a lot of the parts used here, there's not a lot, and a lot of them are very similar parts being used. And again, like I've stressed before in this episode, you can achieve very, very cool mocks not using a lot of pieces, whether they're all the same part, and not even, in this case, there's only maybe, 4 or 5 of those pan pieces, or those balloon pieces, whatever you want to call them, and all of those would have come in the same set. So you can very easily achieve a very cool look, and this is a perfect example of that. And overall, some fantastic shaping and an overall design to create a swan. It looks fantastic. And that essentially does it for today's episode. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you can experiment with some of your pieces and really try some new things to create some nice piece usages for some more obscure things, whether they're random household objects or different animals from the real world, or even vehicles and things like that. There's definitely a lot of possibilities to explore outside of a Toa or a Rahi or a Makuta or anything like that. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you in the next one. But before we go, be sure to check the links in the description for the mocks you saw in today's episode. There's some fantastic builders in these episodes who have built some fantastic mocks, so definitely go and check out some of the things that they've done. And also, if you have any suggestions for future themes for the Bionicle Inspiration series, or some mocks that you yourself have built or that other people have built, be sure to recommend them, and you can do those through some of the other links in the description, where you'll see some of my social media, and you can just send me a message there, or just comment below and you can make your suggestions there. So thank you again, guys. Have a fantastic day, happy building, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.